Ladies, hello. How are you? Welcome to the Awakened Woman podcast. This is episode 8, and I am Claire Bird. I am the identity coach here at Inspired Lifestyles, and I help women navigate through their identity crisis throughout their life as we become more than just a wife, just a mum, and just a worker. Hello. Hey, how are you all today? How are we feeling? We are about 8 days into December, and this is a crazy time of the year. How are we feeling? We're feeling a little bit torn down. Perhaps you're feeling a little bit depleted and overwhelmed. So I'm here to tell you that it's okay. It's just the timing of the year. It's all going to be good. So I hope you have been enjoying the last few episodes with our amazing high caliber guests. The last few weeks here at the Awakened Woman, and I am super pumped to close off this year with a couple of recordings that are going to just blow your mind. These are going to be amazing listening over the summer holidays, something that is so simple, so relatable, and you're going to feel like you've got some besties in your back pocket and in your ears every day. So like I said, ladies, welcome to the Awakened Woman podcast. I am Claire Burt, and I'm super proud to bring you today a little chat about something that is close to my heart that a lot of us may downplay, but is in fact something that we need to look into and something that we need to have a strategy around so that we know how to manage the masks. So today I'm talking about high functioning anxiety and the masks and the managing the masks that we wear as wives, as mums, as workers, as perhaps volunteers at school at this time of the year. We are also little chauffeurs, PAs to our small little people, and it can be really exhausting, leaving nothing left for us, but also in our relationships with our partners and our husbands. And when we're both dealing with really high pressure environments at this time of the year, it can feel quite overwhelming and quite lonely. Now, as someone who is constantly reframing and breathing and overcoming triggers that trigger my high functioning anxiety, my overwhelm, my burnout, I know how difficult and exhausting mentally it can be when you feel like you are constantly reframing your thoughts and so that your mind doesn't trick you anymore. I'm here to tell you it's quite normal, but I'm also here to tell you and teach you and show you and comfort you perhaps in that it doesn't have to be this way. So just because you've always felt these symptoms or these characteristics or these behaviors and these patterns doesn't mean that it's stuck with you. And I'm here to show you what I teach and I have my clients work through in a really soft and gentle, relatable way that helps them break from that mold that they don't know anything different. And because of that, they're afraid to try. So high functioning anxiety is something that is not recognized widely because it can take a different mask. So as a busy mum who is a multiple business owner, 2 young boys who are extremely active, I understand that high functioning anxiety can just be, I'm just busy. But I'm here to show you today that it's a little bit different, and how my high functioning anxiety plays out through the course of my life, and as an identity coach for women, what I'm learning along the way too, because I am the biggest advocate for my work. I do the work, I set my clients because one, I need to know that it's working, and I've got a complicated human being inside me. So it is interesting, and I want to make sure that my clients are getting the most out of it. So how my high functioning anxiety shows up for me, especially in corporate world, when I was managing up to the exec team, I was managing my teams, and then I was having to come home and manage working from home and kids and family and husband. It was always the over planning. So the how, making sure everyone was organized. The kids had their right bags for whatever sport was on that night, having my parents or help take them to the sports because I just couldn't get there in time. So it was the over planning, it's the lists. It's not just one list, it's a list plus a post-it note, plus a reminder in my phone, plus something in my diary, because that fear of forgetting something meant that I wasn't perfect. And the fear of not having something on a list and me not realizing it was there, I was going to disappoint people. So that is one area that there's a difference between being organized and over planning. Procrastination, overwhelm, perfectionism. I'm a high achieving person, always not settling or not recognizing even, and allowing time for integration of, wow, I did an amazing job. It was okay, I did that next. Being a highly detailed person, feeling of never being good enough, never knowing how amazing I am, never giving myself credit, never saying, look at, and being proud of the work that I've done, and needing to always be doing something. So as I speak about these, dozen words and phrases, it's a very heavy masculine energy. And what it doesn't allow for, like I said a little bit before, is the time for integration. So our feminine energy requires space, requires us to hold space for thoughts, for feelings, for intuition, for guidance, for downloads, for whatever you might like to call it, visions perhaps, of when we have an idea, when we say, this is what I want to do, we actually then need to sit back and go, okay, how does it feel? What does it feel like for me to look at this vision and this dream and this goal of what I want to do? How does it feel for me to feel into that? And it's giving yourself, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 days, whatever it might be, to really sink in and feel it. Because once you allow that feeling, you allow yourself to be guided by your gut and your intuition. And that is the most powerful tool as a woman that we have. Men don't have our women's intuition. They have feminine energy. They do not have our intuition. And that is what is going to set us apart from everybody else. So that over planning, that procrastination, that being busy is not a badge of honor to wear. And it was a badge that I wore for so many years. All I thought is that I must always be doing something, because if I'm not doing something, someone is going to say to me, I'm not good enough, or I'm not entitled to rest. Now, I've been so good at that mindset for such a long time that this year I've had to unravel all of that and teach myself, ladies, teaching myself at the age of 40, the art of resting has been one of the most biggest challenges I have ever done in my life. I have faced monumental challenges this year you wouldn't believe, and allowing myself the space and the recognition and the reward that it's okay if it doesn't get done today is one of the most proudest moments I've ever had in my life, because it's for the first time I've said the job I've done is good enough, that I am good enough, that I am worthy of rest, that I am worthy of slowing down, that it's okay. And I'm feeling quite emotional. It's okay not to be doing something. It's okay if it waits till tomorrow. Okay. That is what the mask of my high functioning anxiety shows up as. Shows up as me not letting people help me needing to be in constant control, me setting the standard too unbelievably high even for me, let alone everybody else. Okay, so as an identity coach, that is not the mantra and that is not the alignment that I need to be in, because if I am helping women overcome all of these things and all of these feelings and all of these triggers and all of these blocks, yet I'm not recognizing the amazing woman that I am, how is that going to come across as genuine for those? And it doesn't, which is why I probably struggled the first half of this year. So the second half of this year for 2022 has really been about me sinking into the feeling that less is more. Okay, more is a mantra that I had to do, push beyond the point of breaking. When you're just about to fall apart, I remember in corporate world, gosh, when you feel like you're about to explode and implode and fall to pieces all at the same time, that was when you had to push harder, because it was just got to get through the next 6 weeks, got to get through the next 6 weeks is a mantra that I've been telling myself for the last 10 years. And you really don't notice the progress that you've made spiritually, emotionally, in your romantic life, your intimacy, yourself as a person, if you're constantly going, okay, I've just got to get through this, tick that little barrier, now the next hurdle, and then the next. You don't sit there and go, look at what I've achieved, look at what I have in my life, look at what I get to do. It's a very different story, and it feels so heavy, so detail driven, and it's exhausting. you'll hear in next week's episode, I speak to Carolina and we talk about the real burnout effect. And for those that are listening that feel tired and need a bath and have a night's sleep, you're just exhausted, and that is okay. But those that are feeling like you're scraping bottom of the barrel and you just can't, you've got nothing left to give, you've been trying to sleep for God knows how long, a bath isn't cutting it, perhaps you're trying to self-medicate with wine or gin or whatever it is, that is at the point of breakdown and burnout. And I know the real burnout effect because I know the point and the darkness and the trigger and the baseline that point, that moment in my life took me to, and I know I never want to get back there. So what I tell my clients a lot is that how we feel is how we feel. We never apologize for that, but perhaps we need to be better responding to our triggers. And the comforting part of it is that, ladies, you never get over your fears. So your fear of inadequacy, your fear of disappointment, rejection, heights, spiders, whatever it may be, you never get over that fear because that is something primal within our DNA as human beings. What we get better at as activated women, as educated women, as spiritual women, as healthy women, as wealthy women, we get better at recognizing and responding to our triggers. So that can only happen when you draw a baseline in the sand and say, the feeling of my high functioning anxiety, the managing of the masks that I need to wear every day, the feeling of lostness and loneliness and constantly at the bottom of the barrel, I've got nothing left to give, is enough. I draw a line in the sand that those feelings is something I am never feeling again. And the work you do in unraveling those stories and uncovering the narratives of releasing the blockages and the pain that you have, whether it is yours or inherited through previous generations, is something that you must start investing in. As a woman who is a mother, I want to ask you this question. What do you want your legacy to look like? The pain that you feel, the anxiety that you perhaps have, the managing, the exhaustion, the burnout, that is what your kids are currently seeing. Is that a legacy you want to pass on? Or are you willing to be brave and take the long road and say, okay, my role in this human existence at this day in time for the next 30 years of my life is to make sure that those coming after me no longer have to feel that they are managing themselves and their mental health and their feelings and their stories, that they are no longer doing that on their own, that I'm showing them the way, that I am being the leader that I've always been asking for. Are you willing to be the change maker? Because if you are, you will start to get really uncomfortable having these moments. You will start to really get uncomfortable and frustrated that these triggers keep happening. And at that point of frustration is when you start to say enough. It is when you start to say, I don't want to do this anymore. I deserve better. My family deserves better. I want happiness. I want freedom. I want love. I want to be seen. I want to be heard. That is the most powerful moment as a woman that you can walk into, because you are allowing space. Now, remember earlier I spoke about the feminine energy, and we allow that space. If you're in heavy masculine and you're jumping from one step to the next, you are missing that moment where you get to feel. And my clients will definitely know, if you're listening and those that have been watching for a while, you will know that that integration space is something that is extremely powerful, and you cannot learn that on your own unless you are working with a high caliber coach who is showing you and is being gentle with you and giving you the space and the time to feel into what you're feeling, to feel into the resentment, the blockages, the struggle, the anxiousness, the resentfulness. When you feel into that, then you realize you don't want it anymore. You have a better chance of releasing it and clearing it and moving on from it. So you start to go, well, this isn't my space anymore. This isn't what I want to feel anymore. This isn't what I want to do anymore. I am prepared to do the hard work. I am prepared to be vulnerable. I am prepared to let it all out in whichever way it must, so that I can be free. I can be free to be fun, to have a laugh, to sit on the couch, to not feel like I'm not good enough mother because there's a basket of washing that hasn't been done, to not feel like I am not a good enough wife because I'm tired today and we got takeout, to feel that I'm not a good enough worker because I overachieve and I write 10 things on my to-do list and physically, mentally, I could only get 2 done. Okay? You don't need the order, you don't need the processes, you don't need the control to feel safe and secure and heard and listened and loved. Okay, you need an inner circle, you need some people that you can trust, you need a coach that is going to give you a framework, that is going to give you time to think about the work, do the work, feel the work, and integrate it into your lifestyle to see how it all fits in and what it is and isn't serving you. Okay, that is where we need to get. You need to allow your feminine flow in. You need to allow your spontaneity in, your fun, your flirtiness, your collaboration, your nurturing. Get back to that feminine energy that is attracting, that is not chasing, that is not pushing, that is simply attracting. Okay, because that is the most powerful point you need to get to. And when we get to there as a woman who is activated, who has seen herself at her worst, who has not judged herself from being there yet, who has acknowledged that that was a moment in her time that has made her where she is today, is one of the most powerful realizations that you will make, because that realization is setting the stepping stone, the springboard of what you're not going to tolerate anymore, of what you're not going to tolerate in terms of yourself. You start to form really strong boundaries. And as an activated woman, and for those that are listening that are signing up to start with us in February, we are going to learn a lot around feminine energy, work a lot around boundaries, because if you cannot set a boundary and if you cannot stick to that boundary with every fiber of feeling and energy, you are never going to find relief from your high functioning anxiety. You need to start feeling into that's okay for me to say no because it's what I want and not justify it. And like I said, the relief you are going to feel is like 16 suitcases lifted off your shoulder, and people are going to start to notice. Okay, it's really powerful. So as we wrap up this more serious podcast, I suppose, this one, I felt like it was something that needed to be said, especially at this time of the year, perhaps, when we are going to encounter some people that we don't see very often, that are going to perceive us as people through their eyes or through the eyes of social media, however you deal with these people. And they are going to judge you, and they are going to comment and make an opinion about you simply on what they see, not what they know. And that is their crap to carry, not yours. So ladies, if you are encountering people that you just feel are off, smile and nod. Do not entertain them. Do not be disrespectful though. Say hi, be polite, but know that you need to set a boundary around that. Know that you need to set a firm fence around yourself energetically to protect where you are going. Because this time of the year provides monumental pressure as we finish up work, school, we've got to prepare for Christmas. We don't know how we're going to do it. Some of us are traveling very far to celebrate with family and friends. Some people are celebrating or moving into a Christmas without loved ones for the first time. Okay, you need to be extra gentle, but there's no point being extra gentle with everybody else if you're not being yourself gentle too. So really notice the triggers. Journal, journal, journal. I cannot speak this loud enough, girls. You need to journal. If you don't know how to journal, then please make sure you head over to my website, myinspiredlifestyleproject.com, and check out the Golden Journal Project. It is online. It is a face-to-face that I will be running it multiple times in 2023. And it's questions that are going to really start to get out of that headspace and into the heart and feeling space. Okay, journal it out. because it's the release and the feeling that you will be able to do. And then that starts the communication phase. Once you start leading with effective communication, everything becomes easier. And my activated ladies are going to understand that a little bit more from February when we talk about the art of soulful communication and what that means as an activated woman to get what we want with style and grace. How do we ask for more? How do we set boundaries? How do we reinforce those boundaries and take people along for the journey rather than just projecting and projecting? Because that is the difference between a woman who is in her full feminine energy and is equally balanced between masculine and feminine, and a woman who is stuck in that masculine heaviness and just can't get out of that. So I implore you to try these things over the next few weeks as you feel triggered and stressed and overwhelmed, and know that it is just a phase, that energy is just energy, and that it's the end of a really tough year. And know that there are solutions for you, that there are circles for you, that there are programs, that there are safe spaces for you to learn how to release these feelings once and for all, if that is something that you choose to get rid of. So ladies, I trust that this has been well. Make sure you give this post a like and a share, tag _inspired_lifestyles on social media or Clairebert, and I will catch you on the flip side. See you guys. Enjoy your day.